Can go ahead and start doing this while we do the welcome and hi, everybody. How
Thank you
are
for
you
joining
doing?
us. Yeah, on this crazy little Saturday with the weather very strange. We had 2 inches of snow that melted, and all this, I don't know, the cats are shedding, the dog's shedding, stuff's starting to grow, it looks like. And
Oh, so
my,
it's spring.
yeah, is that what that's called? Spring is on
Yeah,
its
it's
way.
called
What?
spring. Yeah.
That's March 21st, so my allergies are really bad. And, I can hardly see. So if we make this through anything, Crazy B might end up being the reader for today because I am having extreme difficulty. You think my normal stuff is bad? You should wait till you see today. But uh, are we live on all platforms then now?
We are live across all platforms. I am
Okay.
just sending out the links so
Okay.
people can start joining.
Okay.
And I just got to post it on well, two Discord servers.
Okay.
And I just posted on Truth and X.
I
And
saw
I
Rumble
don't
come
have
across.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said I just saw Rumble come across.
Yep. And I'm not on Facebook and stuff like that. So if anybody wants to share to Facebook and stuff, you're more than welcome to. But I personally do not use Facebook.
Yeah, I do have a Facebook account. I guess I could put it on. I'll put it on my Facebook. How's that?
Okay.
Okay.
But if anybody wants to, any of the
Feel free.
viewers, feel free. Yep.
Right. Oh, we got Blue there. Hey, Blue.
Hello, Blue. Can't quite see the chat, so be patient with me.
She can't see. I can't
I
see.
I am now back. Oh, now I
She's
can
back.
see.
Okay.
Hello. Hope everyone is having a wonderful Saturday. Um, Getting things together. All righty.
Yeah. No, my.
I'm ready when you are.
Yeah. Do you want to start mentioning the new? Oh, wait. I have no idea. Oh, I just need to go home.
Oh,
I
I am
need to go
so glad
home
my kids are
somewhere.
done.
Oh,
Blue's
here goes
talking
my.
about.
Wait. You hear my alarm?
Yep, I hear your
That's my get.
alarm.
That's my get ready alarm. That's emergency alert. Oh,
uh,
now why is it saying I need to leave the? Oh my gosh! Alarm clock. Stop! Goodness gracious!
Oh, I love how this goes. Whatever happens, just happens, and we roll with it, right?
Oh, geez, man, that was. I forgot I had that set.
Uh,
That was
I,
on. That was on the behest of somebody we know and love, but she recommended that. That really works well there. Thank you. Okay, so
okay.
what does she say? It's spring break here, so
So all the
she.
kids are everywhere.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Well, not for us. They're not yet. Uh,
Yeah, she's in a different. Well, where
yeah.
she's at, it's
Mhm.
a little bit different. Like where I'm at right now, the kids are going on spring break in another week.
Mhm.
They usually blend it in with Easter or
Right.
just after Easter is when they do that. And so, yeah, it's getting that time. But since my daughter's done with school, we're just waiting to go pick up that diploma. Uh,
Right.
yeah, we're pretty good
When
there. I don't got to deal with breaks anymore.
when will you be able to get the diploma?
In May,
In
we got to
May.
wait till May.
Okay.
I believe it was May 21st is
Okay.
when we got to go pick it up.
Oh, that's awesome.
Baxter just ate an entire ham bone in 20 minutes.
Well, I'll tell you what, Chase would have it gone too. So,
Yep.
yep.
I like dogs will tear the bone right apart,
Oh,
not
big time.
hesitate. Yep.
Yeah. Right. So, one of our biggest things we wanted to mention today was effective April 1st, God willing, the universe willing, and the two of us have any capabilities, which you already know we don't.
We're
So,
getting there.
we're getting there. We have a lot of things to get in place, but we're pretty damn close, and things will start to look different. We're going to have a new podcast. We will be unveiling the name to you and some information in a week or so. Uh, but the questions that need answered podcast, as you see it, will still remain, although we won't be as active on it, maybe. But you will see things like if you were interested in how we do or conduct our research, Crazy B could do a session and show you how that's accomplished.
Or the
You-
research on whichever topics we are covering coming up
Right.
and stuff like that. Hey,
Uh,
Brent.
uh, Things like further, hi Brent, further delving into information that maybe on the new podcast we were just sick and tired of seeing it, for 2 weeks. We might take it and put it in the backstory of questions that need answered.
Hmm.
In addition, there's going to be a new little component that we're going to try, and that name we will unveil, and that is going to be called Insomniac Theater. And that's going to run anywhere from maybe 1 a.m. till 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. And that's basically going to be a music video type format that we're going to evaluate. And it's going to be interesting, although I like a various genre of stuff. Crazy Bee seems to be laughing hysterically with our music selection choices. So it's going to be an interesting little twist. We might have movies on there, but we're going to make it more, I guess, a little bit on the light-hearted side than the heavy, hard-hitting stuff that we have been doing. Although, depending on what happens, maybe there'll be a little bit of political commentary if we can get you guys to come up live and talk with us. Uh, when you're up in the morning and you're, going, why the hell were eggs $10 a dozen? And, we can have a little conversation about it. Crazy B, you want to mention anything about what they can expect with the new programming or formatting or
Um,
anything?
Not really much more to add. I mean, we can always, if anything, put the political stuff to stay on questions that need answers, and non-political stuff can always be talked about on the other stuff, on the other one. So, we can we're gonna be playing with some ideas, kicking things around, seeing where they go and how we like it and how you guys like it.
Right.
And again, we're just gonna play with it and go from there.
And see what works best. And we're open for, you know, uh, questions, comments, criticisms, and all that, but we're not taking any of that into consideration. So
Well,
they're
some of it if it's
basically,
good
well,
enough.
they might be wasting their breath. So, but
Yeah,
no, seriously,
if it's
right,
something ridiculous, that's going to be ignored
right.
right away.
I mean,
And
although
yeah.
we did get our biggest hit on Topless Tuesday, so we
Yeah.
might still keep Topless Tuesday in. I don't know. That's still under consideration. So
I don't know. I'm never gonna take off my avatar, so people will just have to get over that, won't they?
imagination, right?
Yep.
Imagination is
They
what
can
it's
they
all
can
about.
imagine what that
Yes,
looks like. But yeah.
exactly. There we go. All right.
Oh, I'll get all my screaming metal music sent over.
Oh no, here
Yes.
we go. Here we
Me and
go.
Brent are on the same page.
All right.
Yes.
I'll listen to it, I promise. I'll play it, I
Your
promise.
ears
But
might bleed, so be careful.
well, I'll just have to make sure I'm Tylenol and Excedrin up, that's all.
And the volume is set at an appropriate level.
No, I'll blast it. I'll blast whatever I can. But
That's if your system can handle it.
this is true. That might be the thing that gets me out of being sick. That blast might just knock all the illness right out of my damn
Yeah, it'll break
body.
all that congestion out of
Uh-huh.
your head,
The
and you'll be able to
everything.
breathe
I mean,
better.
all of it. All of the illness I have. I might be able to walk again and shit. You know what I mean? I'll just sit in front of the stereo
Oh,
speaker and just go boom and you know.
Irby and Brent are on the same page here. If you look at the chat, and
Uh,
oh, there's Blue Queen with it too.
there we go. Oh God, help me. Well,
I promise I have enough diverse music
so do
that
I.
some of it you would even probably recognize from your era of youth, like when you were a kid and a teen. Um, my era, and even all the way further back, I have been known to listen to classical music. I can go from Beethoven to
Me too.
Ramstein and not
Yeah,
think twice.
yeah, I can too. But I have my likes, and I'm basically R&B, and uh, into my culture. I grew up with African American or Black music, so that is.
This is going to be like the Exorcist the musical.
Who
Yeah,
said that? Who said that?
Brent.
Brent?
Brent.
Exorcist the musical. Right, right. Okay,
It will be
everybody.
because
Right.
Brent
o-
knows my style of music, my preferential music.
Okay.
And I think Irby's pretty much gotten used to. Well, I don't post as much in the music anymore right now, but my music taste is all over the place. So it depends on my mood.
Right. It depends on my mood too. But I've never been a metal person, to be honest with
Oh, that
you.
is what that was
That's,
what got me through my teenage years with my
yeah,
parents.
that was
Oh,
just, you weren't allowed to play that at home. So,
my
I grew
mom
up.
forbid country music.
Well, well, Eric likes country music. And the reason why I say he likes country music is that they sing the words slow enough that he can understand them.
Oh, yeah, then he'd hate my music. He would
Everything else.
hate it.
Yeah, well, everything else is so fast, that he's like, "What? Huh? Duh, what'd they say?" So,
Oh, no, not even is it fast. Sometimes it's hard to hear through the yells
there's a freaking alarm again.
because you put it on
You
sleep
know
instead
what?
of dismiss.
Yes. There, now I stopped it. Ugh. Who suggested that?
Not me. Was it
I
me?
know, but somebody did. Somebody here did. They're in trouble now.
My man loves metal music. Yep, that is
Uh,
a good reason to like it too. Uh,
oh, I'm
if we can be
telling
on
you,
the
you
same
guys.
page.
Are you gonna try to convert me, huh? Am I gonna just have to lay on a cold slab and
I
listen
don't
to?
know. I
Uh-huh.
think you might struggle with some of the music, and I don't even have the sound system. I have the headphones for it, but my computer probably could not handle some of the music that I actually like. It does not
Wow.
have the bass where it can cover it. It'll just sound like vibrating in your ears. So I
Okay.
won't play that stuff because it would be ruined by not being able to play it properly.
To play it the right way. Yeah.
Yep. So
Well,
I'll keep it to stuff that actually works
well,
with the
the
computer and
the
that.
deal will have to be, a one for one trade off. Whatever I play of yours, you have to promise you'd sit there and listen to what I put
Oh, I
out.
would.
For, well, I'm talking to the chat. I'm talking to the people in the chat. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to give me, a metal thing and then go, "Oh God, what the fuck is she playing?" I'm out. You know what I mean? That just
Yeah,
can't
hang
happen.
around
So,
and be
yeah,
polite.
correct. Be polite and maybe learn a couple things or two. You know what I mean? You never know where things might lead someday.
Mhm.
So, uh, uh, so that's where we're kind of headed. We're
It's
again,
just part of the process,
yeah, it's
not gonna
part of
be
the
the entire
process.
video.
Correct. It's part of the process. We have a couple things in mind. It's obvious we're not going to be able to produce all these three things that we have in mind. The
Overnight. That's
Yeah,
not happening overnight.
correct. So as we'll let you know when we put different things out, but we'll
Well, I
start
will
giving
be
you.
creating, especially on the YouTube channel, I will create playlists for
Mhm.
Insomniac Hour, the questions that need answers, and then our just talking whatever shit.
Right.
Um, so I will create playlists. I will even cut down the videos and segment them to the proper playlist. So that way people can pick and choose what they want to listen to.
There you go.
Well, at least I'll be able to do that on YouTube. Rumble does not have that option yet.
Yeah, Rumble's a little bit more difficult to work with. So,
Actually, you
but
know what?
again,
No, because I have my gaming separate from my questions that need answers. I might be able to set it up that way.
okay.
I might be able to set it up that way.
All right. Well,
Welcome to Copyright City. Yeah,
oh
we're
yeah.
going to be very careful with this. I even if we're just playing the audio, not the video, and we will pause it frequently
Hmm.
and do what adjustments we can to it.
On my songs,
You don't have to worry about that, but on
exactly. I
mine,
don't
I
have,
do.
yes, exactly. So you guys might be a little bit in trouble. So don't be going getting Insomniac Theater in trouble right off the bat. Or, oh, you know what we could do to raise funds? We could charge them. Like, Brent sends a video, we get a copyright strike, we charge him a $50 fine. Oh, I
No.
love that idea. No. But no, we'll again, all of this is a work in progress. We have stuff in our head that we think is going to work. Uh, and if you all could just bear with us as we roll these different little projects out. Again, Insomniac Theater might not be an everyday thing. We might do it once or twice a week, maybe. There's a lot that, could go in there, that when you're up in the middle of the night, you want to talk about or whatever. Uh, so we're up right now. It's open, and as we roll it out, we'll be more open with you.
Yep.
Um, so that will be forthcoming shortly. So the next thing, an issue that we keep running against is Ukraine, and we've
Y-
been talking now about that
Oh,
for at least frickin' 10 days, and
yes.
it is nonstop information just
It goes
coming out.
so deep. Like we're just scratching the surface. There's so much we don't cover.
Hmm.
Like I the video I have for today is 42 minutes long. We're going to obviously be breaking this up. We're going to do the video towards the end. We're going to do our talking points and stuff first and then the video at the end. And when this video might be divided up between today and tomorrow's. We're
Yeah.
going live tomorrow. And then we're going to hopefully be done with the main points of it, but there is so much I could actually cover in a recorded video and just upload here and there this other stuff we have found. We could start doing recordings, but like to go live and keep covering it live, we would never end. This
Right.
this crap goes so deep. The corruption, the wasteful spending, the reasons behind the war, what's going on currently with the shifting of alliances. I mean, we would probably have 7 or 8 months worth of live streams
Right. It's
just
just,
talking about
yeah,
it.
it is absolutely a never-ending process. Every single day there's something new going on in the news that is leading into one thing or another.
Which is
And
why I've been mostly focusing on the history of this
right,
war, not so much the current events because
right.
those are ever changing.
And so we're at the point of we want to kind of maybe try to wrap up Ukraine tomorrow as far as you see it now. And then potentially, as Crazy B said, either we'll put another video out on it instead of going live about it, and then just put a video up, or uh, we'll see how things go today and tomorrow. And if we feel that it's necessary to continue, we will continue. But there are other topics that are going on around the country that we'd like to get to. We have a list of things we want to work on. So, but this seems to be, for some reason, the hot potato. So, why don't
Yeah,
we get
but I
started?
also don't want to, be known as the channel that only covers one or two things.
Right.
And
Correct.
like I said, this is a lifeline. I mean,
Hmm.
a lifetime of things to literally cover every point of it. It would
Right.
take forever. And then you got to think about when the war is finally done and we finally get all the stuff that was secreted and, not made to the public released, and we start finding out all these other details. I mean, this would just take forever and a day, and I
Hmm.
am not going to be able to keep up with it. And so, when it comes down to it, we started this topic with the question of, is Zelensky corrupt? and you're my Ukrainian news. We will keep up with updates, but not on the in-depth level like we did this.
Right.
Um,
And before,
n-
yeah, and before we get into that, Crazy B, unless you have something else to point of there, we have to do our kind of current event or
oh yeah,
something.
that's what I
Okay.
was. That's why I said we're going to cover the stuff that you found recently that you were going to talk about. The reading stuff, we're going to cover all that before we go to the video because the video
Okay.
is 42 minutes. Well, 43 minutes. It's 1 second shy of 43 minutes even. And then having to pause
Okay.
it and talk about it, break it down a little bit further with what we know. And again, this is the ever changing topic. So that was a joke. No, but we are going to be keeping updates going. That is one thing.
Right.
As much as you were joking, I'm serious about, if there's an important update, it will be covered, but we're not going to go in depth like we literally did with the whole biography on Zelensky and then where'd the money go, how much was actually sent where, the different perspectives. No, that is insane to cover.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it's just, one thing leads us to another, and, we're not getting any of the answers. To be quite honest, I feel like, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Pelican Brief with
oh my
Denzel
God, I love that
Washington.
movie.
Yeah, with Denzel Washington and Julia Roberts. And I feel like the more we uncover, I feel like we're going to be in trouble because strange things happen to our telephones, our discords, and it has just been a little bit of crazy town. So, uh, it might be time to back off just a little bit with
Yeah,
what we're doing.
that is an
So,
understatement. Like
hmm
like I've said, I actually just had to go and purchase a new phone recently, got a new computer. There is no reason I should be having random apps going down. Like I have I find it funny because I literally keep my task manager open and I'm watching
hmm
my memory and I will be on line or something and I have everything set to the lowest consumption available. And then out of the blue, it'll just spike and it'll go from like 30% usage to 50 or 60%. And I have done no changes to it. And I'm like, what's going on? Why is all of a sudden my computer spiking RAM and CPU? There's no reason. It's only me on my PC and it makes you start wondering if somebody else is accessing things
hmm
and and it's like programs that are running in the background start spiking and stuff and it's like, oh yeah, this is not okay. So it wouldn't
well,
surprise
Arby
me
says
if we're
that's
being very
because
close.
That's because Arby said he reported you to NATO.
Well, you have fun with that. It's not the first time I've had to deal with being investigated. My research has led me to lots of problems over the years. Literally, we'd be on phone calls and we hear another click come in,
Mhm.
and sometimes you even hear the frickin' breathing, and then all of a sudden it goes quiet because the mother fudgers at the NSA forget to mute themselves.
Mhm.
But no, I've literally seen where it's like, huh. There have been times I'm sitting here, my mouse is nowhere near me. I have it up on my desk, unmoving, and my mouse will start moving around the screen. They must have thought I fell asleep or something, and I start seeing my mouse moving around, and it's like, what the hell's going on? So, yes, we are being spied on, just so you guys know, and it's not
Well,
just me. I'm sure everyone in America is going
yeah.
through this and they don't realize it.
Well, they did say that, that Mayorkas was spying on all of the American people. So I'm
Oh, not
sure
just him.
that,
It's been since
well,
even before 9/11.
yeah,
Before 9/11, they've been
when they
watching
did
people.
when what they put that in for Obama.
Yep.
Um, the thing is that you use a keyword or key phrase. Again, look at your Google searches that you use, or I've been on a phone call and Siri has popped up saying, well, do you want me to look that up? How could I answer that for you? And I
You
never
can't.
called.
Leave me
And I'm like,
alone.
yeah, I'm like, I didn't call for you, Siri. Go, go away. You know what I mean? Like, how'd you pop up? Or you're in your, Safari, you're looking for something, and all of a sudden, all of these products continue to pop up. in Safari. You know, I
And
wanted to.
Brent just sent me a YouTube video proving how that what I'm saying about the memory and stuff bouncing really high is
Okay,
proof you've
cool.
been hacked. Yeah,
Okay.
that's why I keep my oops. That's why I keep my task manager open when I'm
Mhm.
doing stuff
Mhm.
because I'm looking at this. I'm keeping my eye on it. Anytime my
Mhm.
computer's on, and I've gotten in the habit now of just shutting it down when I go to sleep at night and I watch whatever I want to from my phone. I do more research from my phone or a tablet. And yes, I am one of those weirdos. I have like I keep all my old phones and I have certain phones for certain things because I'm very organized like this. I'm like OCD level organized. I have one phone for games, one phone for banking, one for research, and one for my everyday use type of stuff, whatever. Um so yeah, I'm one of those crazy people that is super organized that way. And so I do like to keep my stuff separated. And there is I keep multiple flash drives of stuff that I think is super important for down the road that are not permanently connected to my PC. I transfer a file, I eject it, and then I put it away in a hiding spot. And then I have backups that I put in other hiding spots. And it's
So
like,
when basically when we kill her, we're gonna have to dig up the whole yard and sift through all the dirt to find the flash.
oh no, that's too easy. I'd hide it
Yeah,
somewhere where it's not noticeable.
there you go.
You would it's stuff that you would have to really get creative in thinking about.
Okay.
Um, yeah, you gotta think outside the box to find the stuff I hide. But
Hmm.
no, this is again. I'm not trying to act like it's a conspiracy theory and I'm paranoid or anything, but I'm only saying it because it's obvious. And I literally run all my programs on minimal consumption. So like when something happens, I know it's not me. I can tell it's not me. And again, I'm not being paranoid. We all know the Patriot Act was literally just a free reign, have at it, people. Thank you,
Right.
Mr. Snowden. Um, and even before then, they were spying on us illegally. And now it's
Hmm.
legal. So,
Right.
and then both Republicans and Democrats keep allowing it and
I
signing it
know.
back into
That's what
law.
kills me. I mean, I just, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, how did they vote? How did they vote for that again? I just don't
How? Because
understand.
they benefit from it.
I know. Well, I know that, but it's still very disturbing. Uh, that they all voted for it. It's very disturbing. They're such idiots. Well, I wanted to kick off a interesting little piece of information that Doge has found that they're going to save 600. Now, this is in our starting off with our tidbits and uh, what were we, I don't remember what we're calling it, Crazy Bee, but
It's
we're
okay.
yeah, I'm whatever. Uh, so Doge is going to save us $600,000 on a grant that was submitted to discover why men don't have menstrual cycles.
Yep, I saw that.
Okay? And the Agriculture Secretary, Brooke Rollins, canceled that grant
Yep.
and said that the insanity is ending and the restoration of America is underway. I'd like to know who and the how. I'd like to see a copy of that grant. And I'd like to see which men they used as their dummies for this program. How
Yep.
much, like, were they paying them? Like, did they say, here's a sanitary napkin? Let's see if you bleed this month? I mean, like, what the hell was this project about? $600,000? Are you kidding me?
Uh-huh. Unfortunately, you didn't send me a link to it. You sent me a screenshot of it.
Yeah, that's all I couldn't find the, well,
If we
all
can
I have,
find it later, I will
yeah,
look for it.
we'll put it there if I can get it. And then the
Um,
second
yeah.
piece was I have a screenshot as well because I couldn't get that sent over. That all had to do with that issue of not having the phone. Was
Mhm.
55 years ago in 1970, there were daily reports from Vietnam with brave soldiers that were embedded as with embedded journalists.
Mhm.
We've spent more money on Ukraine than we have on Vietnam, and yet we've received absolutely nothing.
Yep.
There's no journalist embedded. There's no reports coming out of Ukraine. Absolutely nothing. Why?
Why? Because we don't have our own boots on the ground, so they're not going to do that.
Well, don't you think that there would be some American journalists, at least once or two, that would stay
Actually, I think there were, but their coverage was very restricted and censored.
by Zelensky?
I believe so. Yes.
So they just picked up their books and left then, huh?
Uh-huh. And some were
Interesting.
jailed being accused of being Russian spies.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mhm.
So, uh, the more I listen to information on Zelensky, I'm hearing a lot about him, uh, them saying the reason we're not getting information out, the reason things aren't moving is because he hasn't held an election, which he was supposed to have done last May 24th. And Uh, is it that it's because he wants to stay in power? Is he worried about that he wouldn't get the votes? But what's interesting is he keeps talking about what my people want, what my people say that they want, but yet there's no proof of what they want. One is they haven't held the election, so would
Well, and again,
Zelensky be reelected?
and here's the thing though is because he put the country under martial law, which
Correct.
does make sense. Okay? But in order to host an election, he either has to lift martial law or change the constitution. If he lifts the martial law, he's putting people at risk. If he changes the constitution, he looks like a dictator.
What do you mean what people does he put at risk?
The civilians. There's a martial law for a reason. You shouldn't be
Yeah,
out
I
at night. You
understand
shouldn't
that.
be in these regions.
Right. I
But their
know what martial
constitution
law is.
prevents them from hosting an election while under martial law. It is part of the
Right. I understand
constitution.
that. I understand that. I'm asking why, if he lifts martial law, why can't he hold the election then if he lifts martial
Yeah,
law?
but then he's putting people at risk because, again, the martial law is in order to keep people safe. If martial law is lifted, they're going to start going into places and going out at times they shouldn't.
Hmm.
So it's kind of a no win situation.
So you're
Oh, it
saying,
also allows them to conscript people for war. That's another reason the martial law is kept into place. All those videos of him going around, the military going around and grabbing people off the street,
right?
yeah, that makes it legal if they're under martial law. So he has quite a few reasons for keeping it in place. And it's kind of a no win situation for the civilians.
It sounds like it.
Yes, it's
Hmm.
a, and again, he changes the even if he changes the constitution to give them the right to vote during a martial law, it still is looks bad that he's changing the constitution in wartime. And it's again, it's an optics thing more than it is a legitimate argument.
Has he really cared though about optics?
I don't. I think he does. I believe optics matter more to him than we realize. That's why he
And
won't wear a
and I
suit. He
yeah,
always wears what looks like military garb, the
right,
shirt and the pants. He does that
right,
to make it look like he just came off the battlefield, even though he's been nowhere near it, except on the
exactly.
publicity propaganda tours.
Right. And that's what there was a video I was watching about him that basically was saying that uh he was doing everything he could to act,
Yeah, and
as
here's the other problem though I have with this is there are legitimate people hurt and dying, and all they want is this war to end as quick as possible. The people on the front lines want this shit to end one way or another. hopefully
Well,
with less
yeah,
bloodshed. But the problem is when they can't do it when the politicians are using them as cannon fodder.
right.
All the politicians are at fault.
Yeah, the most recent information I have is the average age of the soldiers are 43 years old,
Hmm.
and it's 1.2 million people have died,
Yep.
and that just is kind of mind-boggling when you think about it.
It's
I
World
mean,
War One numbers.
yeah, the generations that are gone that they won't get back. Uh,
And Zelensky doesn't care about that.
right.
All he cares about is beating Russia and almost a revenge tactic by the looks of it to me. This looks like a leader who wants revenge more than anything else. And he
Hmm.
doesn't want to stop until Putin's on his knees begging for mercy.
But
And
I
that's
don't.
not what you do if you care about your people.
Right. And again, we had the discussion. I just find it very hard to believe that Russia can't just wipe him out.
I
Uh,
think Russia's choosing not to. They don't have a
yeah,
good
I think
reason to
they're.
nuke
Oh
them.
yeah, and I think they're holding back because if they would start anything, then with
Then they
World War
really have a
Three,
lot to deal with.
exactly,
And if
exactly,
they, and again, they're not, I will be the first to say, Russia is not necessarily fighting fair in some aspects. They are horribly mistreating prisoners of war.
hmm,
They are horribly mistreating anyone they feel like mistreating. But then again, Ukraine may not be putting the info out, but they sure as hell are not innocent on this topic. I guarantee they're not innocent. It's just good luck proving it.
exactly.
And I've said this before, America's not innocent either of war crimes. Look
Oh
at
no,
Vietnam. Look at the desert Operation Desert Storm.
there's storm.
Look
Yep.
at Korean War. Look
Hmm.
at so many times Americans are just as guilty. And again, we we in America at least use the optics to make it look like there's been a punishment for it. But Russia, they need to step up their game with of humanity, but so does Ukraine. The human rights stuff.
And that's the pieces I don't know if they're going to happen. I mean, right now I'm concerned with, and I sent you an article, uh, or was that just a screenshot of
You, I believe you. Which
the
one?
one with
Because
about Germany?
yeah, that was a screen. No, you sent me a link to it.
Okay, can
But I
you
was not
open it
able to
up?
download the video. I can play it, but it might
Okay,
be a little bit glitchy.
okay, let's play it and see what it looks like.
Okay, 1 second. Oh, why did I just put? Oh, I need Discord. There we go. Now I'm on the right page. Okay, let me jump over here and share that.
So, the biggest thing that the latest in the news is that Germany wants to go up against Russia, and
And possibly the United States.
correct, and possibly the United States, and Europe is having the shit fit still about the way Trump treated Zelensky, and the optics of how bad that looked. Uh, I've watched numerous videos of people from the United States saying, how terrible Trump was, and he
Mm-hmm.
set the United States back decades in our diplomacy, decades in foreign affairs. Uh,
Yeah, but I think they're looking at it from the wrong perspective.
right.
And let me
I'll be
explain
right
this.
back.
Okay. I think Europe is looking at this from the absolute wrong perspective because they got caught with their pants down. When it comes to this war, they were not prepared for any of this. Why? Complacency. Complacency gets people killed. And they depend so heavily on America to compensate for where they lack in training and equipment and everything else in numbers. And that's a bad thing. And what if tomorrow, either through eruption of Yellowstone, or someone, North Korea decides to nuke us, whatever, or we're ground invaded and we have to pull all of our troops out of other countries to get back to America, and we have to defend America here. They're going to be stuck on their own trying to figure out what's going on over there. They are not. What did they think, that America was infallible and nothing would happen? It just drives me nuts for Europe to sit there and be like, oh, America can't pull out of NATO. We need America to provide us with all this stuff. What are we going to do now if America goes away? Well, why weren't you thinking about that for the last 40 freaking years? Y'all have been complaining about Russia. I mean, again, we hear constantly the complaints that Russia's so bad, Russia's going to come get us. Yeah, okay, if Russia's that bad, why the hell weren't you acting like Poland? Getting your shit together. Poland. Okay, I watched a video on this. Poland got royally screwed during World War II. They became the battleground between Russia and Germany. They didn't want jack shit to do with it, but their country became the main battleground. That was the main battle line. And it's just, Poland is like, Poland's got its shit together. They're like, this shit is never happening again. And here we go. We have it happening. And there's what, 6 countries in NATO that are actually relatively prepared. And the rest are just like, oh, what do we do? And then there's countries not in NATO that are prepared. And like, this is where I get irritated. I get so irritated with this because they're absolutely dependent on America for so many things. Yes, I was watching a video on it, and it happened around the time my ancestors decided to, actually, even before World War II. In the 20s, there was a lot of problems in Poland, which is why my family came to America. They never explained exactly what happened. Well, I watched a documentary on it today and found out what happened, and basically what Arby just said. And that's why my family got the hell out before World War II got into full blown war. And Poland was the first country to get destroyed because of it. And this is why we have to say, why the hell was Europe caught with their pants down if they were so afraid of Russia?
Right. And it's
Or
been
was it
such
more
how many years?
propaganda to
Right.
just fuel fire?
Right. And it's been how many years, right? It's not like
Over
it was
40.
yesterday. Correct. Again, I go back, gosh, that dog. I go back to, is it truly our responsibility to be the world's police, to have our boots on the ground in Ukraine or any other country in Europe? Is it? And my answer is no, not right now. Not where, the country is in the state that we're in. Maybe when, we have our shit together, which I doubt we'll ever be together, but I just want to know why they turn to us. Why is it now that all of these other countries now have a pissy attitude towards us? Why is it Germany, is considering war against, Russia and the United States? Are you fucking kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
And then I told Crazy B, I recalled a conversation from somebody on the Discord from probably maybe 9 months ago. And this guy lived in a small village in Germany. And he had the audacity, and I mean, we had a huge argument, that he said that it was the United States' responsibility to take care of the European countries, that they were emphatic that it was our responsibility. And we were like, "Are you? Where does they get off on this? It's our job to do this." That's what I want to know. Where they have a lot of nerve.
Well, because they've been, look, okay, both world wars before this,
We
what's
were,
going on
yeah,
now,
right,
America swooped in and saved the day at the end
correct,
because they were getting their asses kicked.
yes.
And America had to come in, put a stop to this shit, and say,
Yep.
knock it off, go to your room, you go to your room, think about your behavior, and knock this shit off.
Right.
Both world wars, America was trying not to get involved. And here we are again, trying
Mhm.
not to get involved. We're trying to stop this shit. And what do? Nope, they're still trying to make it happen. They are
Right.
so desperate for a war because of old grudges and stupid shit and God knows what, besides, most of these leaders are probably a bit paranoid and possibly on the lines of schizophrenic. I wonder how many of them have voices in their head telling them to do this shit
Right.
other than their thoughts. It's like this really
It
has
doesn't
to
it
stop.
it doesn't seem like there is any leadership from the EU, that can stand up and say, enough is enough here.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
hell, EU and NATO are both split right now on whether to support America or to support Ukraine.
exactly. Exactly. And we have
They're
some
not even on the
information.
same page.
Right. We
And
have
now they're
information.
scrambling. Like, can we
Mhm.
actually do this? Are we capable of this?
Mhm.
Now, again, is Trump going to pull completely out of NATO? I don't know. Would he still help them if they got attacked? I don't want to see Europeans intentionally going after Russia and then needing to call in all of NATO because Russia fired back.
But I also don't want to see them do that in thinking that that's how they're going to get the United States involved too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, you know what I mean? Like, let's go over here and start a fight in the playground and let's see if the US will join in.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that happen either. So,
Yep.
I really truly I don't want to say I'm waffling on this one. I really hope Trump pulls out and says you guys could kiss my ass because again, not only do I believe we're not the world's police, but the second major issue I have against all of this is and I've said it before, if you think for 1 minute that anything would happen to the United States, we were attacked, if you think any other country is going to roll in and help us, you'd be sorely mistaken.
Well, they technically did back on September 11th. We requested an Article 5 in NATO, and NATO responded by helping keep an eye on the waters and the air while we were recovering from September 11th.
See, I don't view that as an actual war on and boots on the ground.
Yeah.
So that could maybe potentially be the difference I have in that. And as we get into the NATO and the UN's responsibilities, maybe that can be fished out a little bit more, or maybe the lines have kind of blurred with who does what. I'm not sure, but we can filter that out as we go through this today.
Arby's got a good point. How many NATO countries use Patriot batteries and F-35s? They rely on the U.S. for their militaries, even without being without us being there. And that is so true. And again,
Mm-hmm.
there is nothing wrong with us dumping NATO to deal with Russia while America focuses on what's going on with China. We can still send them equipment and stuff as needed, and that's only if peace talks fail. And
Now,
again, the
and
peace
again,
talks are still being kicked around.
right, and if and in Germany and any other country, if they think that one they're going up against Russia and the US, that's in of itself kind of laughable. But imagine if China gets sucked into it, where
Well, the last
it
thing we really need is Russia, China, and North
and
Korea
mhm,
teaming up together against
yep,
us. That's the last thing we need. That's what I think part of why Trump is trying to be so nice to Putin is to divide that. And again, this is me speculating. I could be completely wrong, but the enemy of my enemy is my friend, basically. And again, we may not all agree on how Putin runs his country, but I'd rather have him supporting us against China than supporting China against us.
I agree.
And this is again where it's a strategy thing, not a feelings thing. I don't let my emotions get in the way on this shit for a lot of reasons. And I know we're going to have to make those hard decisions. So it sucks. It really sucks.
Okay, well, let's go up with our first video for today.
Oh, the Germany one, that's only a few
Yeah,
seconds, 11
right.
seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's all in German, by the way.
Oh, we can't
Yeah.
translate it?
It has
Oh, that
it
came
has the little subtitles in
okay.
English. All right, let me
Die Europäer müssen sich
hold on, let me enlarge this and then back it up. All right, here we go.
Die Europäer müssen sich nun gleichzeitig gegen Russland und gegen einen immer feindlicher agierenden US-Präsidenten rüsten und dabei auch noch die Ukraine so stark machen, wie es eben irgend
So basically she's complaining about having to go up against Russia and America while Europe is trying to strengthen Ukraine as much as possible. I don't like that.
And why is that now?
Why weren't
All
they
of a
doing this
sudden,
before?
yeah, like why? Or because, Trump backs out and says, we're not giving any more aid to Ukraine, correct? And
Uh-huh.
now Europe all of a sudden is up in arms? Why?
Well, again, look at what happened. America, for all of Obama's era and all of Biden's 4 years, really never sent them anything of usefulness in the war to end this. And I don't think, even if we did send it, I don't think Zelensky would have used it right. I don't think he would have. This originally probably started off as a money laundering thing and got out of control. It was supposed to be a long term war. They wanted this to cost a fuck ton of money. And who knows how many politicians across how many countries were going to benefit from it. And now Trump's like, nope, this shit's stopping. A lot of NATO is going to lose a ton of money if this war doesn't happen. They're going to lose all kinds of military contract stuff. They're going to lose kickbacks. Who knows? I'm sure there's all kinds of reasons that they would be getting all kinds of ways they could be getting money.
Right, right.
And then also take in the American politicians who are going to make a shit ton of money off of this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think this is more just Trump disrupted a massive money laundering thing.
Right. And I wonder, out of curiosity, does it go all the way back to Burisma with the money and with Hunter Biden and with Joe trying to get in there to get, the millions of dollars? I
Yeah.
wonder how far this goes back. And that's
Well, I
part
was
of,
watching a video from Doug in Exile
hmm
that was saying that almost every single one, actually all but one of Joe Biden's signatures during his presidency was from an auto pen.
that's what I heard too. And I
And
actually heard that,
he was
oh,
pointing out that the signature used looks very similar to Joe Biden's signature,
oh,
not
wow.
Joe Biden's signature.
Hmm. Yeah, I heard that the pardons that he put through, since it was used with this auto pen, could potentially be null and void.
Yep, and it's too late to fix it because he's not in office anymore.
Correct. Yep.
And then the question is, who was hitting enter on the auto
Mm-hmm.
pen?
Yep.
Who was signing with it?
Very
And
interesting.
again, all of this aid, all of this stuff going to all these countries, Biden probably had no clue his signature was being put on these papers.
Well, I don't know about that. I think we could say that he was out of his, he was, he had dementia and he didn't know what was going on, but uh, I'd like to believe he did, only to see him go to jail, but that would never happen. And that's the other
Not at
thing.
his
Out
age
of
and his mental state,
right.
they
And,
wouldn't.
and and that's the thing, that's the other frustrating part out of all of this is, even if anybody is identified as any sorts of corruption or you know, uh,
Misuse
breaking of
of
the law or
everything.
misuse of funds or whatever, nobody's going to jail. You
I
know what
hate
I
to
mean?
say it.
I
Nobody's going to jail. I agree.
I mean, so that's the frustrating part for the American people of where is justice at? Where? Tell me.
That's the sad part. We haven't held justice for over 100 years, unless it's low down the ladder. Higher up the ladder, it gets shoved under a rug, buried under
Hmm.
top secret. You can't see this.
Right.
That's where all that shit goes. And it doesn't matter which administration. I'm sure Trump has hidden some things he's done too while
Oh,
in
yeah.
office.
I don't. I told you that. He's just a man like anybody else is, and
Yep.
there are things that he says that I disagree with. There's
Oh, yeah.
times he opens his mouth that I actually cringe and go, "Oh my God, please just shut up now." You were
Shut up
ahead.
while you're ahead.
Yeah, shut up. What are you saying anything else for? But, that's who we picked and that's who you got to deal with.
Well, again, we
Um,
picked him because at least he's not doing the stupid shit that got us into this mess in the first place.
correct. Correct.
Even though he's cringe sometimes, even though he exaggerates at times, he's trying to fix what others have destroyed.
Mhm.
And again, I don't like some of the stuff, especially the way he words it. Like, dude, a thesaurus would do you great.
Mhm.
But he doesn't. And so we leave it be. It's not, again, when you weigh the pros and cons and you put him up against Kamala Harris, who was our other option, and Tim
Right.
Walz, could you imagine where we would be with those two in office right now?
I'll bet you Tim was a candidate for the menstrual study.
I bet he was
And he
too.
and he said, "Oh, I don't want to use a pad. I'll use a tampon." So,
Yep, exactly.
mhm. That's how he got that name. He was part of that $600,000 study. I'll bet he was supposed to get a little bit of a stipend for using the tampon. Hmm, interesting. We'll have to
Yep.
contact his team and see if they know anything about his participation. Hmm.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
this
So
is where I keep saying, everyone wants to bitch about Trump, but they don't realize it would, at
it'd
this
be way
point,
worse.
if it
Yeah.
was with Kamala and Tim Walz, we'd already have boots on the ground over there.
Right. Absolutely.
Or we'd keep dragging it out and more of our money would be in weapons and stuff. Wouldn't be going towards ending the war, but sustaining the war. There is a
Well,
huge difference.
and that's the piece that I don't like is the sustaining of the war because the again, I only heard it for the first time ever since I've been listening, you know, 6 days into their administration when they brought up the OAR and,
Mhm.
where the distribution that they,
From there goes.
uh
Yeah.
huh,
And
and
again, the OAR makes it sound like it's a legitimate
correct,
donations place for
right.
people to get, or for the government's money to be sent to where it's supposed to be. But when you
Hmm.
dig in to where the money actually goes, it is not to the wars that they're claiming to train people and provide for.
No, it actually the majority of it comes back to the United States.
Well, and again,
Just
we are the largest manufacturer of armaments.
correct,
So,
but
I mean,
it's
we do
still
have that part of it.
right, but it's still who does it benefit? It
Yeah.
benefits the warmongers. It put the money out, send it over to the OAR. It gets sent, signed up for distribution. It comes back to the United States, and yes, we're building new equipment, etc. with it, but who's getting paid for that? And that's, I think, one of the biggest problems that I have found since I've delved into that. And again, we haven't even looked at who was getting the money. So we can't say, that crazy B received, X, Y, and Z, and D received, A, B, and C. We haven't even looked at individual types of uh, money distributions.
Oh my
So,
god, wanna see Okay, something funny just happened. Wish I could have shown it, but I didn't realize it. Um, in my Word document where I'm putting the notes, I put Germany is preparing for war with Russia and America, and it wants me to autocorrect where is. It wants me to is not preparing for war with Russia and China and America. It wanted me to autocorrect and add the not
Oh,
in
that's
my Word
interesting.
document.
Wow.
How weird is that? Uh, Hold on, let me see if I can pull this up and show you guys what. Oh, it's back. Okay, hold on. Let me pull this up and show this to you guys. I am not even joking. Um, right here, when I click on this to correct it, it literally brings up a note to auto switch it to Germany is not preparing for war. That is what this is what the AI wants me to change it to.
Wow.
I wish I could make this larger for you guys. Can I make it? Oh yeah, I can. It says Germany is not. That is what it wants me to correct this to. But
Hmm.
that's not accurate. Thank God I don't do autocorrect on this stuff.
Wow, that's interesting.
It bothers me. This is what the kind of stuff I'm talking about. You guys aren't even aware that this kind of stuff is happening. It wants
Right.
me to still change it, but I'm not changing it because it's not factual.
Hmm.
It bothers me when I see stuff like that. AI trying to force us to adjust how we put stuff. And why is AI even being used? I don't need AI to tell me how to type up a link with what the topic is.
Well,
It's just this is why I shut off the AI Copilot on my computer. I will
mhm.
not use Copilot. I will not. But yeah, that's pretty much where we're at right now with this kind of nonsense. Can't even type up show notes without AI trying to tell you to change.
That's crazy.
Reason number 1,207 12,764. Why not to use AI? Yes. Bingo. Brent had it right. Again, it's driving me nuts. It really is. With the AI, with the propaganda push. Oh, yep, Arby's right. YouTube uses AI to censor comments.
Yes, it does. We know that for a fact.
Yep. So, yeah, this is where a lot of us truth tellers come into some problems.
Hmm.
We end up with extra users on our PC randomly. We end up with extra AI corrections. We end up with censored comments. We don't get our notifications sent out for videos. And again, we're not even trying to discount. We're not sitting here just saying, oh, this narrative is the wrong one. No, we're pointing out that all of them are wrong and we need to look past the propaganda. That's what this whole thing is about.
Right.
Is this whole Ukrainian war thing. Ukraine is not innocent. Russia is not innocent. None of these countries are innocent. But we need to end this shit before more people get hurt.
Yeah, when you have 1.2 million people, I don't want to see an American. I don't want to see any American go over there to fight their war. I mean,
Yep.
you know, I feel bad and all that. I don't want to see anybody get hurt, but I don't want our people going over there. Damn, we got our own problems,
Yeah.
that need to be taken care of. I don't know. Am I wrong? Am I
It's a
wrong
bad
here?
time for a world war to break out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's ever a good time if we say wait till, November 1st or whatever, but,
No.
I feel, uh,
It's all levels of
it's,
messed up.
there's not only is there able, that you're able to do research and you see and you can do analysis, right? But
Yep.
then, see, my problem is I have that feeling component, and that is to my family and my friends who I would never want to see. I don't want to see my grandchildren go to war ever,
No one
you know.
does.
I'm at the point now of I think they should send all old people. You know what I mean? Like if you're 50 or over, you got to go fight, and let's see what you can do, like in a wheelchair or whatever. Uh,
Yeah.
but it's scary to think that uh, especially when you hear that they're doing trench warfare. You know, if we would go over there, would we make things better? Would it be worse? I don't know.
Well,
I think
and
that Europe
again,
should Europe Europe should take care of Europe. All of Italy, Spain, France, Germany, Britain, let them all get their boots on the ground. And then maybe if they need help, then the US comes in. But
yeah,
why
because
the hell would we go in first?
well, again, because if we want it to end quickly and not drag this shit out, we can do what we used to do in the past: step in, end that shit in a matter of months, and say, okay, peace out.
Oh, you mean like it was only supposed to last 3 months and it was going to be over?
Well, look at what they said about Vietnam, but that's when they
Yeah,
started making money off of it. I'm talking
right.
World War I, World War II.
Yeah.
We walk in, it ends, that's it. However, more recently, our politicians have made way too much money off of it. No wonder it doesn't end.
Well, then I don't like, I didn't know that Zelensky was best friends with Lindsey Graham. You know, do you know that when Zelensky was here, that he met with politicians on the Hill who
Before
told him
president. Yep.
who
Go ahead.
told him how to handle Trump?
And look how it went.
They told him.
But they
They told
wanted it to be this way so they could drag the war out.
well, according to some of the sources I saw, like Lindsey Graham was insistent that he told him, you had to go up there and make nice with them and tell them, you were sorry and all this other bullshit. But then other people were like, no, you got to be tough and, be strong, blah, blah, blah. So now I want to know. I know he took the picture, right, with the 30 people.
Yeah.
Uh, were they the ones that advised him? And
I
if
bet
they
they were.
were, right, and if they were, I'd like
Treason.
to mhm, and do they have a link to Ukraine somehow?
Oh, I
That's what
bet
I
they
wanna
do.
find out. Yeah,
Or not so much even Ukraine. How much are they getting from the military complex, the industrial
true.
military
Yep,
complex? What are they going to benefit from this war?
right. Yep. So that's the type of stuff, if you guys are interested in that, you let us know and we could maybe get a start on maybe one or two people to take a look at them. This requires a lot of effort
It
to,
does.
to dig deep. And I mean, just this little bit that we present to you, it might seem like nothing, but
Oh
it
my god, but the
literally,
hours to find them.
yeah, it takes hours and some of it's quicker than others, but then you find it, you have to read it, make sense of it, and,
Make
uh,
sure it's not propaganda.
right? And try to be, middle of the road and what makes sense and what doesn't.
I
So,
can tell you, I put in upwards of 10 hours a day doing research.
hmm
I literally put in about 10 hours a day
yeah, I'd say
doing
that's
actual
probably,
research.
yeah, depends on who I'm working for, doing whatever for.
Yeah,
Uh,
and that's and I'm trying to I also I've let my gaming go to the side for the last couple of days,
hmm
which I need to not do. I need to get back into my game streams here and there. At least 2 hours a day just to give myself a mental break
Right, right,
from some of this stuff because
right,
holy shit. Um it is a lot. It does
right.
take a toll on you. When
And
you're
like,
sifting
like,
through unedited pictures and
yep,
unedited video, and then you're like, "Okay, well, I cannot use this unless I drop it into CapCut and start doing some massive editing."
hmm So it is a little bit, as I said earlier, our plan is to become more professional, if that's possible. But
I don't know, but
I
I'm
don't know, but that's our
what you
goal.
guys don't yeah, the behind the scenes stuff, is the professional search.
Right.
You don't see. But what we present ends up being a goofball collage because we're exhausted.
Right. Right. And that's on a daily basis. I mean, we talk in the morning and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do anything today. And Crazy B's like, neither do I. And we're like, but we have to. And we're like, but no, we don't want to. And the other thing is, as we get to know one another, uh, Crazy B can speak for herself, but I'm a sickly chick from my toes to my nose, and every day is something new. I take a lot of medication, see the doctors all the time, and, we're lucky we're even here by the grace of God. So,
Yep.
there are some days that I wake up like today and it's just a rough day, and I'm like, ugh, I don't think I could do this. Hence
I'm in
us,
the middle of a live stream.
yeah,
Let me
hence us
mute.
wanting to put out some videos versus always going live so that we would have something prepared for you in the event that we just couldn't do it. Or you'll see maybe uh, one or the other of us trying to do something on a smaller basis. So, again, we don't know how this is going to work out. We really don't. It's all open and up in the air. So, um, we got to wait for Crazy B to get back because she is in charge of our, yeah, technical support, I guess. And that's a whole nother thing I got to learn to do. So I know some of it, but there's a lot that she uses that I don't know. So I can't get into some of the systems. Uh oh, my baby's here early. It's not 6 o'clock, is it? It's 5 o'clock. He's here an hour early. Anybody have any questions for us? Let's see what's in the chat. Can I even read it? Oh, we got Arby making all kind of comments.
This right here, I can put this. Okay, sorry, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
They found a range bag with a shit ton of stuff in it for me for cleaning the guns and stuff at a yard sale, and they felt the need to show me.
Okay.
On my end, I have nothing but blank screen, so I can't. Is it coming through on your end?
I see nothing. I thought we were going
Uh
to
oh.
start pulling up. Either you could pull up the article about the UN or the article about NATO.
Okay. Let me see. It looks like my live is frozen.
Lovely. So what does
The
that?
audio's coming through, but the video is all kinds of fucked up. Let me try sharing something and see if it works.
Here's
Um,
Arby's comment. As we learned last week on his live, I just need to stop taking all my meds. Arby, I'd be dead. And I'm not lying. I would be dead if I'd stop taking all my meds. The meds that I take are the bare minimum. I quit a
yep.
lot of stuff. Uh, and so the stuff that I take is what I need to keep me alive. There's one drug in particular. If I didn't have it, I'd be gone in probably
My live is frozen. We must wait for it to come back. Okay. I'm
and
not
we're
sure why my
back.
live is frozen.
And we're back.
Oh, we're back?
We're back. Oh, D, that wasn't serious. I'm mocking my chatter. Oh, that's fine. All right.
Yeah, he was not talking about you.
Okay.
He not in a serious sense. He
Gotcha.
knows.
Gotcha.
When I share my screen, it does not share across the studios
Hmm.
to the live stream.
Okay.
I don't know what's going. I thought I was sharing it.
No.
Oh, I know. Oh my god, Am I doing this right?
Are you going to say you're a dumbass? Is that what you're going to
I
say?
am. I am very
Okay.
much a dumbass. My studio's not working right. I don't know what's going on. That's weird.
Hmm.
Um, maybe if I leave and come back?
I thought we tried that.
No, give me 1
No.
second. I'll be right back, folks.
So she's going to leave and we're going to stay and it's supposed to work? Interesting. We got to get some waiting music while we're waiting.
Okay, there we are. I'm back.
You're back? Is it working
And
now?
by the looks of it, let's see. Yep, it appears to be working on the live stream.
Okay.
Let me
And
it will
which
let
one
me
did
share now. This is what I'm talking about. There we are. Yep, it lets me share now. Okay.
okay. Which one do we got? Which one's up?
Why
You
is
got
my live
NATO?
chat?
Do you got NATO or do you have the UN?
I don't have anything pulled up as of right now. I gotta go find it. Which article did you want me to pull up?
Either the UN or NATO, either one. It's
Where were
Elon
those?
said, yeah, Elon says to get rid of to leave the UN, and the other article is Trump considers a major NATO policy shift.
Okay, which would you prefer, the NATO
It
first
doesn't
or the
matter.
other one?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, well, let's pull up NATO.
Okay.
Let me enlarge over here and share that screen. I'm learning how to do this. Uh-oh.
Uh-huh.
Okay, there it is. I wanted to
Uh-huh.
make sure my internet's working. Okay, play video or just read?
You know what? Play the video. I don't know
Okay,
what's on the video, but we'll see. Oh, isn't that Kirsten Walker? I
I'm not
believe
sure.
so. I believe so.
Let's enlarge this and hit
Welcome
play.
back. The European leaders are holding an emergency summit today as they scramble to increase their.
And I want to apologize if it's glitchy at first. Unless it's a YouTube video, I'm not able to get a smooth copy of it. So I apologize if it's glitchy.
It's my
Military budgets
fault too. I didn't know about the glitch.
about waning support from the U.S. President Zelensky received a warm welcome by EU leaders at that summit in stark contrast to the tense meeting in the Oval Office last week. While European leaders huddle, President Trump warned that the U.S. might not defend NATO countries who do not meet the defense spending threshold.
You're not going to pay, we're not going to defend. I said that 7 years ago. And because of that, they paid hundreds of billions of dollars. I said, if you're not going to pay your bills, we're not going to defend you.
Are you going to make that policy, U.S. policy, that the U.S. wouldn't defend NATO countries that don't pay?
Well, I think it's common sense, right? If they don't pay, I'm not going to defend them. No, I'm not going to defend them. I got into a lot of heat when I said that. He said, oh, he's violating NATO. And, the biggest problem I have with NATO, I really, I know the guys very well. They're friends of mine. But if the United States was in trouble and we called them, we said, we got a problem, France, we got a problem. A couple of others I won't mention. Do you think they're going to come and protect us? They're supposed to. I'm not so sure.
So why standing so long?
I view NATO as potentially good, but you got to get.
I kind of agree with him on this. I'm sorry I'm pausing, but I actually agree with him. NATO in concept is a great thing, but they've gotten so complacent that it has become a problem. I'm gonna let him continue, but that's my stance on it. I don't know where you stand, D.
Yeah, wow. I also sent an article, and that'll be dropped in the comments,
Yeah.
or in the show notes regarding what exactly NATO is and what they're supposed to do. And I think they've
Yep.
kind of strayed away from that position,
They very much
somewhat.
have.
So And I don't know, again, anything about the money there and what's going on and the corruption there and the back and forth there. So is it better to just do a Doge on NATO and clean house kind of thing, maybe? Perhaps.
I think that would be a great concept to
You
do.
know, let them go in and see where our money has gone. You know what I mean? And then they could audit the other countries. But I am in full agreement. You pay up, you pony up, or you know what? I'm not coming to help you. I'm sorry. It's not like they don't have the money. You know what I mean? They
Yeah,
have the money, but they're just so used to the United States backing them on every little thing. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. I don't want my money going there. And I'm even at the point I know I'll probably get pushback on this, but I would really prefer that if there's any type of war to be met with, that the American voters go and vote on it, whether they want to go to war or not, because
yeah.
of the corruption with the politicians. And after seeing the video, the 30 people up on Capitol Hill with Zelensky, Lindsey Graham not obviously having our interest at heart, but having Zelensky's at heart because they're probably bedfellow buddies. Uh, and yeah, I said it. Uh, and with everything else that's going on, I don't have confidence in my elected officials. I don't.
I don't either.
Okay. And my elected officials are not my elected officials that I voted for. Okay. So that's first off. They're Democrats. All right. And then seeing their freaking behavior this week, and the immaturity and the lack of decorum that they have, how the hell can they go from a presidential speech to, yeah, they're the ones that are going to save the country from a war? Yeah, give me a break. So I'm at the point of I think we should be able to take a vote on it. That's the way I feel. So, uh, but if he wants to make the change, I say send Doge in. Let them see what they find,
I like what Arby just said
which is,
here. Whoever spends the most GDP on NATO should have the most say.
mm-hmm,
I agree. And if they all want an equal say, they better step up their game. I've said it a million times. Europe's been caught with their pants down, and it is bad.
mm-hmm,
And like Trump is saying, if we got invaded, would NATO be able to help us?
mm-mm.
Would
Isn't
they
that what I said?
actually be able to do so?
No. Who would come to help us?
Well, I'm sure they would want to help us,
Oh,
but
well,
could
one
they
thing
physically help us the
one
way they want
thing
us to physically help them?
oh yeah, we would what would it be on TV? Oh, yes, we would like to come and help you, United States, but we just can't. Yeah, right.
We don't have enough trained troops,
Exactly.
but here's some money and some prayers.
Yeah. And it wouldn't even be money. Are you kidding me? It wouldn't even be money. It'd be here's
Oh,
our
here's some of our
prayers.
stockpile ammo that's not
Yeah,
been stored properly.
right. That you gave to us, right? we'd
Yeah,
we'd be
let's
getting
give
our
you
shit
back
back.
some of the
Yep.
stockpiles.
Yeah, we'd be
But by
getting
the
our
way,
shit
we
back.
didn't store it properly, so half
Mm-hmm.
the ammo isn't going to work right
Mm-hmm.
because it's going to be waterlogged or moisture
Yep.
logged. That
Yep.
yeah, that black powder. Good
Yep.
luck. It may or may not work.
Yep.
I'm telling you, this is part of the problem. This
Yeah.
is
And
part of the problem. And you watch how quickly our military gets brought back, and we're going to start having to literally just go to the gun shops and say, "Sorry, we need this," and our gun shops are going to be emptied.
exactly. I mean, Canada is definitely not coming to help us, and I don't think
No,
Mexico
they're
is
still going to
either.
hold a grudge about the whole tariffs.
Exact that,
Mexico
and
might. Mexico
uh,
might.
I don't know. I mean, they're taking back all this illegal bull crap, so I'm not quite. I don't know about that. But if anybody, they would be the ones, right? Mexico
Yep.
might be the ones to come help us. Maybe they could stop them from crossing the border or coming up the waterway or whatever. But Our only hope maybe would be is to hire the cartel. You know what I mean? Since they know the
Yeah.
country so well, you know what I mean? Because they can get you from El Paso to New York. So uh,
Yep.
they'd be the ones to hire, right? Uh, but I
But
think,
that's again where we're going to have the problem of America could hold its own, but we're going to have to recall all our troops from around the world.
mm-hmm,
And what are those countries going to do without us?
mm-hmm,
Which one's which? That one's, oh, it kind of looks like your phone.
yeah. And then will
Yep.
we go into a draft situation?
Yep.
So cute, Jasmine.
Yep,
It's again where we have a big problem.
right.
Nothing is going to work if people don't get their asses in gear and start preparing for the end of the time. Like they've had so many years. This is my problem. They've had so many years to prepare for this, and they choose not to.
Okay, so Arby's saying, Russia can't even take over poorly trained and uh, partially equipped Ukraine. See, I
Yeah.
think they can. I think they can. I think they're holding back because I think they know that if they start shit, it's on. You know what I mean? It's that we're into a full blown war then with the United States and other countries involved. I I think that they're trained. I think people aren't giving them the credit that they deserve. I really think they're better trained than we think.
What is this?
I'm
Unless
not
there's
going to
have
argue
you
that
seen?
point. I do
Yeah, have you
believe it's a
seen?
possibility.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's not true, but Arby, if you've seen anything, any documentation or anything about that, I'd greatly appreciate it if you'd send it my way. I'll take a look at it. Uh, but I mean, to my understanding, Ukraine's in that position, hence wanting help from the United States and from the UN. So is it that we have if it's that Russia doesn't have an army and Ukraine doesn't have an army, so we have two powers that have nothing. Is that what we're saying?
I think it's a good way for them to all embezzle money to
Uh huh.
start refunding or to get the hell out before the next coup and they have money to go run to and run
Okay.
with before they get thrown into, as Lord Sterling puts it, wood chippers.
Yeah, for real. Yep.
Because I see that happening to Russia if, they lose. I see that. I honestly, if Ukraine loses, there's going to be a lot of problems because I've been seeing stuff where there are sections of Ukraine that absolutely cannot stand Zelensky and they want him out of power.
Mm-hmm. So Arby's asking,
So,
how would
yeah.
Russia get here? By air or sea?
I don't
Our
think we
Air
have to worry so
Force,
much about Russia. I'm more worried
right,
about China.
right. They don't even make it to our shores in significant enough numbers. You know what? I don't think they have to. I think with what Biden did by letting in the illegals,
Oh, they're already here. They're
they're
just
here.
waiting for the
Yep,
opportunity.
they're here. They've been here. And my initial thought was that we were going to have another 9/11 situation. But after doing some more digging into stuff, I think we're going to have pockets of, say, for example, we have maybe 5 major cities go up in one day, and that means that FEMA has to scramble, the National Reserve has
Yeah.
to scramble, chaos ensues, throughout the country. So I think there's now going to be these smaller pockets of whatever you want to call it, incidents that occur versus something big. So I think
Hmm.
they're already here. For
They're just
example,
waiting for the right opportunity.
exactly. For example, and this digresses a little, but and I don't recall that many from Russia. Russia was coming in through the north versus coming in through the south. But from the south, China actually had a route where their people stayed at hotels and rested for 3 or 4 days before they continued their journey. And these guys were able to make their way. They were caught by U.S. Border Patrol and they were let go. Do you know nobody knows where the hell they're at in the country? They have no idea where they're at. So
Yep.
there are groups of Chinese men that are already here.
Yep. Lots of them.
Now, the Russian border was totally left unguarded. I mean, you talk about we had our pants down on that one.
Yep.
It's still not guarded the way it should be, but it's better than it was. But you got to remember the whole border. I mean, just like the southern border, they're trying to get in all the way in every state across that border. So what was happening was they were getting on boats and coming over, or by airplane and coming over into Canada and just crossing right over. They have, video pictures of them, in snowsuits, scrambling through the forest on the ground. And I mean, some of it's pretty wild to watch. So much more here, but I don't think we would ever really see a massive invasion where, like, we saw, look at Japan and Hawaii, and in Hawaii.
Yep.
Uh,
And don't ever
so,
attack our boats.
yeah, so could that be that they took something on? Yeah, you know what? I don't know. Could they come in and hit Norfolk? Could they come in and hit some of the military bases down by El Paso and stuff? That's a whole nother thought. That's a whole nother subject that we could delve into. Really.
I like what Arby's point is right here. Whoops, right there before I accidentally changed it. He says we're short-sighted. We only think 4 years at a time.
Right. We've always been that way. The last
Mm-hmm.
comment he makes is China and Russia play the long game. Absolutely. And I think that has to do with our elections, right? They go by
It does.
you get a new president every 4 years, hence everything always changes, right? Biden came in, he rewrote Trump's executive orders. Trump comes in after Biden, he rewrites what, Biden did, and, nothing
Yep.
gets, set into stone. So we are always playing the short game. There are people, as they said, the career politicians or the career service employees that do play a long game. The generals that are in place, the other people that are governmental employees that are in place. They do
bubbles every time I put it on.
different things.
I'm sorry.
You're fine. You're fine.
It has.
Okay, you want to hit play and we'll finish the video?
Yep. Let me hit play and finish the video.
It's good thinking in NATO. It's very unfair what's been happening.
Meanwhile, NBC News is exclusively reporting that as the Trump administration appears to turn towards Russia, some U.S. allies are now thinking about scaling back the intelligence they share with the U.S. Joining me now is NBC News senior national security correspondent Courtney QB, who reported on both of those stories. Courtney, congratulations on two great scoops. Let's start with NATO and this potential policy shift by the Trump administration. What does it mean for Article 5, which basically says an attack against one is an attack against all?
Well, what we were reporting is basically what President Trump just confirmed in the Oval Office, and that is that the Trump administration has been considering sort of calibrating their support for NATO and NATO allies based off of the members who pay the most. So if you have a member who pays above the threshold, the percent of their GDP on defense that the Trump administration thinks is appropriate, then they would consider defending them in the case of an Article 5 violation. Or, of course, the part of the Washington Treaty that says if one NATO member is attacked, all consider themselves to have been attacked. But it's not just Article 5 that's under consideration here, Kristen. This potential decrease in support to NATO by the United States could also see the Trump administration basically calibrating which exercises, military exercises, they would participate in based off whether the countries are meeting this threshold, this monetary threshold. And it could also make determine where U.S. military troops will be stationed and where they could be withdrawn from. So right now, NATO says that all members are supposed to pay 2% of their GDP towards defense. The Trump administration has been calling now for several weeks for that to be increased to 5%. Chris and I say the U.S. doesn't pay 5%. We're right around 3.9% as of 2024.
Yeah, I think it's so important to point that out, that the United States doesn't pay 5%. Courtney, how extraordinary that he, and I think we have to put a fine point on this, confirmed your reporting from earlier in the day, and just notable to hear him talk about that. You also have exclusive reporting about allies possibly scaling back intelligence sharing with the United States. What are the biggest concerns that you're hearing on the world stage?
Yeah, and Kristen, again, these are some of the historically closest United States allies who have established this group called the Five Eyes. It's 5 nations that share this very highly classified technical intelligence information with one another at higher levels than they share intelligence with other nations. Now, some of these allies are now concerned that the United States seems to be trying to normalize relations with Russia. President Trump has spoken pretty openly about that effort. Because of that, they are concerned now about sharing some of that most sensitive information with the United States. And really at issue here, Kristen, is the foreign assets. They are concerned that some of their foreign assets, individuals, could potentially be compromised, their identities. And that is why they are now discussing the possibility of not sharing as openly as they have with the United States in the past.
All right, Courtney Kibbe, thank you so much. We really appreciate your reporting.
All right. Got through it. Now, I can see why they don't trust America talking to Russia. I can see why they would be nervous, but that's
I
still
think
not a
that,
good reason to be asswipes about it.
right, but I also think that goes back to the whole, is this proof that Trump was Russia, Russia, Russia to begin with, right? There's
But
all
again,
that.
how many countries were involved in that nonsense?
I know, but there's, I think that still plays into this nervousness that these countries have, that, well, oh, Trump seems to be siding with Russia. Why would he be doing that unless there's something going on? So,
Yeah. But again, I also can see
how
why
do you,
Trump would be nervous of some of these NATO countries.
exactly. He's in a, no
Same
matter what
reason.
no matter what he does, he's in a difficult position. But I support, I mean, when he was president, previously, he told them pay up or shut up. And either,
Yeah.
if you want to play, if you want to be in the exclusive club, you have to pay your charter membership. If not, they don't let you
And
in.
also step up your game.
Exactly. If not, they don't let you in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if they haven't paid, um, and I apologize, I don't have a list, and I'm not sure if in my article that's in there. Uh, if not, I'll find one to see, have a breakdown of who's paid what. Um, you
Oh,
know,
we've covered that in other episode in a
in the
previous
other,
episode.
okay.
Yes.
So basically, they haven't been paying their fair share. So again, why should we go in and cover their ass?
Exactly.
Okay. Next up, we have so Elon Musk. I'm hoping this is part of Doge. He thinks the U.S. should leave the UN, and then the question is, what if Trump does?
Oh, I got to change my show notes. I put it as NATO, not UN. Thank you for pointing that out. Otherwise, my show notes would have never been different. And I can actually agree about leaving the UN because they have been doing some shady stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not okay with it. As y'all know, I'm one of those people.
We have
I'm nervous about
yeah,
them.
we have Brent making a comment that they want us to worry. Uh, He's openly said, now where'd it go? He's openly said he didn't want to take sides and that he just wants the war and killing to stop. I agree.
Yes.
He has new I mean, every time you hear the man talk, everywhere he goes, from, an ice cream shop to, a big event, it's time to stop. He doesn't
Yep.
want the bloodshed. And JD Vance mimics that. So does Marco Rubio. And
Yep.
that is the first time that I've heard in a long time staff supporting what the president has to say. So that continual same message is getting out. So if you meet with
Hmm.
Marco Rubio, you're going to hear the same message that you're going to hear from JD Vance, that you would hear from President Trump.
Yeah, and it's about time we finally have all of our politicians in agreement with him.
Correct. And normally you don't. Okay,
And you can
so,
tell it's a genuine agreement, not a I have to because he's the president. This
right.
is genuine agreement.
Um,
So, um, I was going to scroll through this article. Do you want me to do
yeah,
the reading, or are you going
why
to be able
don't you
to?
go ahead? Yeah, why don't you? I'm so hoarse right now I'm going to shut up
Okay.
for a while.
So it says when Donald Trump's benefactor and cost cutter in chief, Elon Musk, recently supported a call for the United States to quit NATO and the United Nations, it should perhaps have been no surprise. But the first months of the second Trump presidency has already seen key parts of the current international order undermined. I think they spelled that wrong. They spelled it wrong. Um, Musk's um, position fits a general pattern. Alongside, aside from the tilt towards multipolar world order, the U.S. now refuses to recognize the International Criminal Court. He has slashed its foreign aid contributions and has withdrawn from the World Health Organization, the UN Human Rights Council, and Palestine's relief to UNRAW, which I absolutely support that because I have seen the articles of things coming out. They are doing some horrific things. There are minors in my house, so I can't go into details. But yeah, the UN definitely. And why be on a human rights council that isn't actually enforcing the international criminal laws?
Hmm.
They seriously, they're not enforcing shit. Why are we supporting them and sending them money? Is yep. Well, did it come up? Yes, it did. I wanted to pin that comment. So with now back to the article with Trump's oh my god, why can't I read today? With Trump's domestic politics displaying a clear autocratic edge, the rejection how is it autocratic? Anyways, the rejection of the founding principles and ideals of the UN come into sharper relief, except they don't enforce their ideals. um, the intolerant and impatient negotiation approach he displayed with Ukraine's President Zelensky also belies a disregard for cooperative and consensus based diplomacy. I don't think they get the point. We're sick of bureaucracy
Right.
because bureaucracy means nothing gets done.
Well, what they're
We
trying,
have to start making shit happen.
right. And what they're trying to say here is that Trump's piss poor behavior that he displayed in the White House that has set us back. Remember, I said in the beginning, the claim is now he set us back in foreign relations and in other areas of his behavior has now affected the UN.
Yeah,
And what is the UN now going to do with him?
nothing because they don't do anything about anybody.
Well,
They've been letting genocides happen. They've been letting mass murders happen. They've been letting inappropriate behaviors towards people that are victims and refugees happen. I mean, when they're holding back food on a community until they get specific favors, adult favors from these victims as young as 5 and 6 years old. They are asking for adult favors in order to give them food. That's bullshit. And we all know it's happening. The
Correct.
articles are out there all over Twitter.
Well, I think once you go,
And why aren't these people being punished?
because again, when they don't punish anybody. But I think as you continue to read, you'll find that uh, from the 1940s till today, the significant changes that occurred in uh,
Yeah.
what their mission statement was.
I do have it. This is my autism kicking in. The undermined here, that means that they haven't mined enough of something. Not, I think they mean undermined with an extra D, because that means they have gone against the ideals. In this case, they have not gathered enough of the ideals. The wording, it
Well,
drives me nuts.
I was going to say they
Blame the
just,
autism.
you know what, did Zelensky decide that he was going to sign the contract for the
It's
mining?
been back and forth. He'll say yes and then he rejects it. He says yes and then he rejects it.
So he hasn't. Okay.
It's a back
But
and
he
forth.
did but he did sign it with the other three uh countries. Okay, that's interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Um okay, let me
So
do I'll
I'm
read
gonna
this
keep reading.
yeah, I was
Okay.
going to do this next section. So this is in
Okay.
all stark contrast to the central role of the United Nations has traditionally played within the US led international order since 1945, along with other institutions. Now, pay attention to this. The UN allowed the US to shape the international system in its own image and spread its domestic values and interests across the world. Along with NATO, the UN was designed as a global security institution to produce global stability. So I guess you know what? There's my frickin' answer. We have been determined to be the world's police. Am I right?
According to the UN.
Right? So we have been.
Yep.
They allowed us to shape the system in our own image, in the United States image.
So basically, the opposite of the conquest to expand communism, we are on a conquest to spread democracy.
Democracy. Correct.
And
So
that's not our business to do, by the way. It's
I
no
agree
one's
with that.
business.
Okay, so there's the answer to our question from a long, at least to me, for why we've been doing this. So, in theory, at least, the political and economic values of the US and other democracies enabled the construction of the post war order, according to political scientist John Eikenberry. This was based on multilateralism, alliance partnerships, strategic restraint, cooperative security, and institutional and role based relationships. Boy, would I like to reword that in a simple and easy to understand language. Crazy B, can you kick it up a little bit? Go up,
I'm doing that right there.
okay? But by the 21st century, U.S. actions had undermined many of these principles. The U.S. led invasion of Iraq in 2003 bypassed the authority of the UN, causing then Secretary General Kofi Annan to declare that, from the Charter point of view, the invasion was illegal. This undermined
Yep.
the legitimacy of the UN and America's place within it, but it also diminished the organization as a force for maintaining international security and national sovereignty in global affairs. The subsequent human rights violation by the U.S. through its use of retention, torture, and detention at facilities such as Guantanamo Bay and Abu Ghraib,
Abu
Gar-
Ghraib.
Ghraib, God, I don't know.
Garib.
So further weakened the UN's credibility
Or no,
as a
Gra-
protector.
Grabe. Sorry, go
Oh,
ahead.
okay, further weakened the UN's credibility as a protector of liberal international values. Now, what I find interesting about all of that is, so once they decided that what the actions that we took were illegal, in this reading of this document here, this is telling me that they wanted to maintain security, uh, international security, national sovereignty within the globe. So, were we going for like a WEF kind of thing? You know what I mean? Where the UN was going to be like the be all end all, and they were going to try to create a chief of, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Or were we headed down that path if that wouldn't have happened?
Yes. America was on board with the WEF, with the global rule, and that's why some of this was put into place. Because
Mm-hmm.
as more countries joined the UN and NATO, we would eventually be the dominant of the world and be able to force them all under one rule. That's
Wow.
exactly where this was headed.
Yeah, this is interesting. The U.S. has also been a regular non-payer of UN fees, owing U.S. 2.8 billion in early 2025, as one of its lowest contributors of military and police personnel to UN peacekeeping operations, despite paying nearly 20% of the overall budget.
So, America, when we were paying, we pitched in 27% of the budget. But there was times that we didn't pay, and again, it's because of our government not knowing how to budget. Just going to
Hmm.
point that out.
But why were we? I don't understand why we were the lowest. See, here's more money to follow. Okay,
Mhm.
UN versus the UN, and this was the difference. One of the differences I wanted to know. Since the 1990s, several Republican politicians have argued for the U.S. to withdraw entirely from the UN. In 1997, Senator Ron Paul introduced the American Sovereignty Restoration Act, aimed at ending UN membership, expelling the UN headquarters from New York, and ending U.S. funding. Although it received minimal support and never reached committee hearings, Paul reintroduced the act in every congressional session until his 2011 retirement. It was then taken up by other Republicans, including Paul Brown and Mike Rogers. In December 2023, Senator Mike Lee and Representative Chip Roy led the introduction of the Disengaging Entirely from the United Nations Debacle Defund Act. Roy referenced the perceived negative treatment of Israel, the promotion of China, the propagation of climate hysteria, and the U.S. 12.5 billion in annual payments, Lee added. Americans' hard-earned dollars have been funneled into initiatives that fly in the face of our values, enabling tyrants, betraying allies, and spreading bigotry. Angie, if you want to scroll up and pick up
Um I'm just
public
looking where
polling,
you left off.
public polling
Okay.
in 2024.
Public polling in 2024 also showed only 52% of Americans had a favorable view of the UN. This option has deeper historical roots too. In 1920, U.S. isolationists blocked the ratification of the Treaty of Versailles, and with its U.S. participation, the League of Nations, the predecessor to the UN, although the U.S. would interact with the League of Nations until the UN's formation in 1945 and never became an official member. Criticism of the UN also has a bipartisan angle, with U.S. withdrawing funding from the UNRWA in 2024 during Joe Biden's presidency after Israel accused the agency of links to Hamas. A diminished UN. If Trump harnesses these historical and modern forces to pull the U.S. out of the UN, it would fundamentally and likely irrevocably undermine undermined what has been a central pillar of the current international order. See, they're more worried about it disrupting the international order instead
Mm-hmm.
of what is right for everyone. It would also increase US isolationism. And what is wrong with that? Reduce Western influence. What is wrong with that? And
Mm-hmm.
legitimize alternative security bodies. Again, these include the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. I hate when they use redundant words, which the US could potentially join, especially given Russia and India are both members. Why the hell would we team up with China? China's a big threat.
So hold on a second. So this Shanghai Cooperation Organization
Corporation organization.
is still in cooperation. Shanghai Cooperation
Oh, yeah,
Organization.
cooperation. Sorry.
So that's still in effect right now. Is that a link
Yeah,
that
they've
you
been
can? Is
running
that a link?
India and
Can you? Is that a link you
um,
can click on?
I just clicked it. We're about to find out. It just comes here to explain what they are. They formed on June 15th of 2001, and it's basically to protect Asia from
Wow.
outside influence. They exist because of the UN. Now let's see if it'll take me right back to the paragraph we were on. Yep. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Um,
That's interesting.
More broadly, to reduce influence of the UN will endanger general peace and security in the international sphere. A wider protection and promotion of human rights. Not that we promote human rights, but you'll never enforce it. Freaking idiots. There would be a greater unpredictability. There's the word. Unpredictability in global affairs, and the world would be a more dangerous place a dangerous place for centuries, big and small. Oh, for countries, big and small. Oh my God, I got to clean my glasses. A UN without the US will force new strategic calculations and create new alliances and blocks as the world leaps into the unknown. And that's the end of it. Now, here's the thing, they make it sound like it's a bad thing for all these countries to be able to think for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it such a
Again,
bad thing for all these countries to think for themselves?
I go back to it's not our responsibility.
And like Arby
And
just put, these globalists just care about maintaining their illegitimate power.
right.
Yep.
Yep.
So
Okay. What else we got going on? I mean, it's
yeah, we're not going to
6 o'clock.
be able to
We've
get to the
been
video I initially
no,
intended to get to.
and we still
So
had
I
a
will have to
couple
pull
other
that out of
things.
the title.
Yeah.
And what other thing did you want to cover?
Um, I don't know. Anything we didn't do today, we'll pick up and finish tomorrow.
Yeah, which means I got to go ahead and adjust the title because we did not cover the one thing I wanted to do, but that's no big deal. Um, and we'll just put that in
We'll pick
tomorrow
that
and
up
I'll drop
first
the
thing
links in the
tomorrow.
description.
Okay, that
Yeah,
sounds good.
we'll probably just spend tomorrow focusing on that
Okay.
and whatever little other topics we come across to
Okay.
finally end this. See what we mean by about the time we go to end it, there's actually more. It just does not seem to end. So
Right. I mean, like
I'm
there's
telling you, it
yeah,
never ends.
it's frustrating as far as uh the information that's out there. Like now there's this who knew there was the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and what
Yeah.
is their What what are they trying to do up against the UN? I mean, it's just,
Bingo.
again, if truly, ideally, probably I'm being irrational, but you wouldn't need to have these separate corporations if the goal is to have peace throughout the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You wouldn't need the UN. You wouldn't need Shanghai Cooperation. You wouldn't need this. You wouldn't need that, because you would have leaders that led their damn countries, for the best that they could be, without causing war, without the United States having to come in, without us saying, going in and saying, hey, do your men menstruate? Hey, here, let me give you a condom. Hey, let me do this, let me do that. I mean, sometimes we are out of our freaking loving mind. There's just no doubt about it. So for us to pull out right now, pull out, man, that doesn't
Yeah.
sound good. Pull out doesn't sound good, Ange.
I
That
know.
doesn't.
To
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
leave and no
To
longer
leave.
participate.
Yes, to no longer participate in those activities, uh, or those organizations. Um, I say let's revamp it all, and I cannot believe that you can't get people to the table to make agreements on uh, getting this war done and over with. And
Hmm.
I think that there are certain people that just want to keep it going.
Oh yeah,
So,
that's all they got.
right. So we could end this on the first official Insomniac Theater song. Hmm.
Uh,
We
we
could do
could.
that. We
Let me
could
edit.
do that.
I'm editing up as I go. So if you could
Yeah.
just give me a few moments. Why did this do this? No. Cancel. Go back. What am I doing wrong? I'm on the wrong dashboard. My bad. I bet my server just got hit with a ton of notifications for a game I'm not about to play. Sorry, folks. Oh, come on.
So for our friends in the chat that are going to try to hit me with these songs, only do a couple at a time. I mean, I don't want to get your 1,000 list of hard rock songs that I'm going to be banging my head off the wall. Although maybe banging my head off the wall could be a good thing. Hmm. I might have to rethink that. We might have some opportunity there.
We might. And now I need my other damn phone because I accidentally locked myself out of my
Well,
account.
why don't we just end it then?
Um, yeah, we can pick up on all the rest tomorrow. I am so sorry. I got to jump into my email. I got to confirm my YouTube because I went in to go change some things because of the live stream.
So, in other words, we have a user that doesn't know what they're doing. That's the real thing. So,
A content creator that doesn't know what they're
content
doing.
creator. Sorry, content creator that doesn't know. And that's hopefully when we launch April 1st, you won't see that. You'll keep us behind the scenes like this, but we'll just be a tad more professional on the new channel.
Maybe. We'll think about
Maybe.
it.
Yeah, there's no promises though. No guarantees. So, um, we are glad that you stuck with us all this time, and hope to see you with us to finish up. We're going to try to be done with Ukraine tomorrow because
Yeah,
we've just about had it. Other
it's
than
about it.
maybe,
Yeah.
yeah, an update here or there, we're kind of done with it. It's making me, I have Ukraine dreams, and it's time to move on to something else.
Oh,
So if
very
there's
much.
yeah, if there's a subject matter that you'd like us to look into specifically, either some of you have our direct DMs or drop it in the comments, and we'd be happy to take a look at it.
And for some reason, I am not getting the notification. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Okay, folks. Yep. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to play the outro and we'll be back tomorrow. this way, that way, everything else. Oh, indeed, we have an entire music section in my Discord server, as RB pointed out.
Oh, okay. I'll be
Yep.
I'm sure once I join it, you'll be going, "Oh my God, who let her in?" But
Well, you've
hey,
had access to it.
I know I have, but I'm just saying I haven't been an active participant. But I could blow your I could blow your little music channel away. So be careful what you wish for there, Arby.
You are very welcome to have fun in there.
All right, we'll see what it brings. You know, uh, the different repertoire. All
Yep.
right, guys. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate everybody dealing with our craziness, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. I'm out. Bye, Ange.
So with
Bye.
that, I thank you all for showing up, being here. And as usual, stay safe, stay sane, stay sober. I truly appreciate those who showed up and those who are going to be watching later on. I will catch y'all on the next one.